I'm Chief Customer Officer of Harrington Star, so we are a recruitment agency. We place financial and technology people into the sector. We look after salespeople as well, and the work that I do, I would say, is defined by inclusion and trying to drive more people to this sector who would never ever have considered the sector before. And I'm trying to show that this sector is a great sector for your career, for longevity within your career, for learning, for innovation, and everyone's welcome. And that's not the perception from most people. So it's a lot of work to be done, but there's so much growth that's happening, so it's really important work to be done. Yeah, absolutely. So again, this is something I'm really, really passionate about because, we all can agree that the more minds in a room, the more times you stress test something, the more perspectives, opinions, debates that you can have around any solution to any problem in life, not even specific to this industry, but any problem stress tested by more minds is going to have a stronger solution. We can all agree with that. So we need to do more to drive different perspectives and diversity of thought to this industry so that we can make this industry the best it can possibly be. So without going into too much detail, I'll be talking about how we can not just attract people to the industry, but retain them, and what we need to do to retain them so they're happy, engaged, the best of themselves. Yeah, so it ranges. There are some amazing stories out there of people just doing brilliant things to include in terms of all avenues, not just looking at gender equality, for example, or age or neurodiversity, but all sorts of avenues. And there's some brilliant stories that I love to showcase. I run a podcast series where it's all celebratory. These are the right things to be doing. However, there are areas within the industry that are overlooking this, that don't see it as the DNA of their business or the DNA of the industry. Instead, they see it as a luxury item or the last point of an agenda at the AGM. And we'll all recognise that. We'll recognise that DEI is often the last point of an agenda, and it shouldn't be, and it should be moved up to the first point because we all agree people run our businesses. People are the heart and soul of this industry. Without them, there is no industry. We are unable to move forward. So I'm very passionate about this subject. Yeah, so I think from my perspective as a recruiter, we always start with attracting that talent, and to attract that talent, I think we need to change the way we talk about it. So using gender as an example, people often say, "What is it about women that they're not interested in this industry?" When actually we need to be saying, "What is it about this industry that we're not interested in women?" And this isn't just a gender focus. This is about diversity at large. And I think that we need to be looking at ourselves and thinking, what can we do to showcase the very best of us, to showcase that we are willing to change, that we are willing to address our own conscious and unconscious bias and start changing our behaviours so that people not only view this industry as inclusive, but they believe that it will be once they get here. So attraction is number one to me, but the very, very important number two is, as I've mentioned before, the retention. And that is in the day-to-day, and that is where you have to be embedding inclusion in your conversations, in your boardrooms, on your floors, as you're communicating with all your staff, how you communicate with all your staff. Are you embedding psychological safety? Are you encouraging people to share their opinion even though it may not be the same opinion as everybody else's in the room? Are you making them feel safe to do so? There are a plethora of things that we should be doing, and I think it's really important that we start looking at ourselves and how welcoming we are to those that disagree with us, because it's the disagreement that I think will make us a stronger industry. So this is a huge part of everything that we are at Harrington Star. It's almost taking over everything, which is what I think it should be when it comes to inclusion, because inclusion is about people, and we are a people business that places people into fintech. So and financial services. So it makes sense that that this is a huge focus of ours. I will use one campaign as an example, and it's my campaign called the 19% list, which is addressing the gender imbalance within the industry. So across all technology roles in the UK today, only 19% of them are filled by women. 2 years ago, it was only 17%. Three years ago, it was also 17%. 4 years ago, 17%. So our biggest issue, as I've been talking, wasn't just about attracting women to the space, it was keeping women in the space, because we were a revolving door, and we still can be in many, many avenues at the moment. So this program that I run, it allows for hiring managers across the space to have better visibility of the women looking to get into the space. It allows for not just visibility, but looking at hiring from a totally different point of view. And that point of view is about what people can become within your business, the potential they bring to your business, not just what they've already done in the past. It's about looking at people and thinking, well, are we going to be able to promote them, invest in them, train them? It's a different way of looking at the same problem, but it's driving different results. So I'm really excited about the results that it's driving, because I'm looking at the numbers, and the numbers are shifting, and that's what we need. Yeah, so I think it's so important that we're talking about it, because, look, social justice, number one, is completely the focus here. But if we also look at what is going to happen to this industry as we grow, this industry has never seen so much funding as it has in the past 6 months, year. It's absolutely phenomenal what's happening in terms of different businesses going through Series A, B, C, what that means for growth, what that means for people. Everyone's talking about the war on talent. We cannot keep searching for people in the same pools we've always searched. We physically are going to hit a bottleneck, and we won't be able to grow. We won't be able to hit the goals that all of us want to be hitting. And I think that it will make us so much stronger if we can re-look at the talent problem, and instead of looking at skills that are already proven, look at potential that will be proven once investment has been put into those individuals. So for me, it's not just a luxury item or a nice to have. This industry cannot get anywhere near to its heights without it. So it's very important. So I think it's really important that you look at the business that you are applying to, and the first one that you're going to be working in. Is there representation? Are there allies within that business? Are there advocates? Get yourself out to networking events, because all your allies and advocates may not be within your organisation, but they are within this industry. Networking, mentoring programs, these are all growing in such a beautiful way at the moment across the space, where people are having just great connections, but also those mentors aren't just mentoring and improving someone's skill set and knowledge base. Instead, they're advocating for them. And for me, the advocation is the key element of what we need here, because when we look at mentoring, it's almost like, well, women need to be mentored, they need to be made better at certain things. Some women are just good enough, and actually we need advocates for them rather than more training.